Okay, well, welcome back to our next lesson. We're taking a look at evaluating or simplifying a variety of expressions, specifically looking at those that happen to have absolute value or radicals. Again, radicals are a fancy name for the square root symbol. We need to remember to follow PEMDAS. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, some of us know it as, where we do parentheses, exponents, multiply or divide in order from left to right. It's important to remember we may end up dividing before multiplying, just depending on how we see them as we read left to right. Adding and subtracting similar as well. I encourage you to do this without a calculator or to use a calculator as little as possible. So as we look at these first couple examples, they are set up as fractions, and I can work everything in the numerator at the top and the bottom, and then finally look to simplify at the very end if we can. In this case, I get 12 plus 24 in the numerator. On the denominator, 4 times 8 minus 5, which simplifies to 3. At this point, 12 plus 24 is 36. 4 times 3 is 12. If we reduce 36 twelfths, we get to answer of 3. In this next problem, I want to go ahead and simplify the square root of 81 and then the square root of 36. So we end up with 9 plus 6 over 45. Again, consolidating the top part of the fraction or the numerator, we end up with 15 45ths. If I don't recognize that I can simplify by 15 right away, I could simplify by 5 and make this a couple step process. But let's go ahead and again reduce by 15 in the numerator and denominator. Again, dividing both by 15, and we get to 1/3. For number 3, I need to work within the absolute value sign first, so I get the absolute value of negative 12 plus 15. The absolute value of negative 12 is 12, so we're left with 12 plus 15, and this just simplifies to 27. In this problem, I need to do everything or simplify everything under the square root sign before finding the square root. So if I go 10 times 12, I get to 120 plus 24. Again, remembering to take the square root of that. Then 120 plus 24, that's 144. Now I can take the square root of the 144, and that's 12 minus 20. Go ahead and write in blue. This is the same as 12 plus negative 20 if we think better that way. Either way, we end up with a final answer of negative 8. In number 5, the symbols out front, they're asking for the positive and the negative answers to the square root of 121 over 625. Again, we mentioned last week that I could treat this like having the square root of 121 in the numerator and then 625 in the denominator, which would give us 11 25ths. And they're looking for the positive and the negative answer. And I could write it this way, or if we want to shorten it up, we could use the positive negative sign in front, 11 25ths. Either this answer or this answer would be correct. Looking at number 6, I need to work within the parentheses first. So we have 3 times 90. I can go ahead, because it's separated, I can go ahead and do 9 squared. That gets me to 81 over 3. That will simplify to 270 minus 81 divided by 3. Some of us might be able to do 270 minus 81 in our heads. If not, don't hesitate to go over to the side of the paper and say 270 minus 81. We need to borrow Borrow again. And we have 189. And I'll just change colors. Again, I could go 3 into 189. That's going to give us 6. That went in evenly, so I'm not going to subtract. I know that 3 can go into 9 3 times. And we're left with a final answer of 63. In our next two problems, they look fairly similar. However, I want to write them out in expanded notation. This one should be number 8. Write them out in expanded notation, and then have you see if you can see the difference. So we have 5 times 5 plus 20, and in this other problem we have the opposite of 5 times 5 plus 20. So on number 7, we can go ahead and simplify 5 times 5, that's 25, plus 20, and that will get us to 45. For number 8, we have the opposite of 5 times 5, which is negative 25, plus 20. When I simplify those, I end up with an answer of negative 5. If you have questions on 7 and 8, we certainly can take a look at those tomorrow in class, because there is a difference, and it's important that we're able to identify what that difference is. So tomorrow we do have a worksheet that we'll work on, and we'll wrap that up, or start that on in class, and hopefully able to finish it.